Hey guys, Taylor here on a very rainy day here in Salt Lake City. I'm about to have to go back out into it, which I don't mind terribly. I really like the rain, actually. A lot of people think I'm crazy for saying that, but it just kind of reminded me of a quote from a movie I saw one time, a movie called Joyride, which is kind of a creepy movie, sort of a horror film. I don't really know how you'd classify it, but anyways, there's a quote in it about about how great rain is and how it just washes everything clean. And it was in the sense of cleansing whatever area or place that it hit. And I liked that. And I actually had a friend back in Vermont, where I'm from, who said the same thing of like below zero temperature kind of weather, that it just flash freezes everything and it just cleanses that area, basically like washes it clean, starts it over kind of thing. And below zero temperatures happened a lot in Vermont if you haven't been there, so I knew exactly what he was talking about. But this idea of cleansing is an interesting one because these days we have so many different kinds of like nutritional cleanses and juice cleanses, food cleanses, things like that, different diets. But also Lent just started recently, and so whether you celebrate it, whether you honor that or not, doesn't matter. But there are just a lot of things these days that we call cleanses, and so there's just a lot of talk about cleanses. And it made me think about the fact that we human beings we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be perfect, or we think that we are special, or we think that we are, the the Almighty ourselves, and that we just need to live up to that ideal. And especially with regard to cleanses and things, a lot of people I've found think of it as just like you have to wipe the slate completely clean. It needs to be like a total cleanse, and you have to almost reaching for this ideal sense of purity or cleanliness of your soul and your body and your mind afterwards. And I'm not going to comment on like the nutritional cleanses. That's for a nutritionist or a physiologist to talk about. But I'm thinking of it more so psychologically, because in the field of mental health, this perfectionism comes up a lot when people think of themselves as a hot mess, or they identify as some kind of mess. Like, oh, I'm a mess. I'm a hot mess. I'm just completely all over the place. I don't know what I'm doing with my life, or something like that. And so I've found that with my clients, but also just in general in the mental health world, there's just so much pressure that people put on themselves to be perfect and to be pure. But then not only be that or achieve that, but also to stay pure and for longer periods of time. Certainly there's discipline. There's like lots of discipline. Like, if you meditate and you're disciplined, then like you can kind of regulate a sense of stability. Same with nutrition. If you use nutrition properly, you can kind of regulate a sense of homeostasis. But everything is in chaos. There's no actual such thing as pure stability, because everything in the universe is in movement, is in motion. And I don't mean chaos like turmoil, like the negative connotation that we associate with it, but I mean chaos is as always just in movement. It's never actually stable. A river is never completely still. And even in our bodies, molecules, and in the universe, molecules and things are just never, ever, ever stopping. They organize themselves. That's why we think that there's stability, but there's actually no such thing as like pure, consistent stability. So at least I like to think of cleanses as something more of just kind of like a humble reminder, or just a realistic reminder, that we can sort of draw more awareness and be more intentional about how we feel about our own mess, or how we feel about our health or our body or our mental health. But I think we all need to give ourselves a little bit more rope and not think of it as such an ideal perfectionist thing that we must achieve and then hold on to forever, because nobody can. And it's okay. It's not a bad thing that we can't. It's just that we can't be perfect. So whether you celebrate Lent or you're participating in a juice cleanse or something like that, maybe it's just a helpful thought going forward. One other thing that I thought of, basically like right as I was turning off the camera for the last video, was that I thought of meditation. And for those of you who meditate, you probably know what I'm going to be talking about, but in general, the trend of meditation oftentimes is the thought that meditation can just help you eliminate all the thoughts, just clear out your brain completely, just like bring you to this totally pure sense of peace and zen and cleanliness in the mind, and eradicate the hot mess that you think you are. When really Zen Buddhism and meditation, the whole purpose isn't to eliminate the thoughts, it's just simply to witness them and form some kind of detachment from the thoughts, and detaching yourself from the emotions or the meaning that you associate with those thoughts, or the pain, or the idea of the suffering, just so that you kind of get into a peaceful state automatically, just as like a relationship to those thoughts. So maybe we can think about that too, like what I was talking about the perfectionism before, just about how maybe we can consider the practice of intentional and metaphysical detachment from this ideal of eradicating all the thoughts, or maintaining or achieving like pure cleanliness in our soul.